Thank you, Mr. Doggett. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses. This is a very troubling time in American history. Our national security has been jeopardized. Our democracy is threatened, while so many have remained silent about it. Hopefully, the appointment of a special counsel is a first step to seeking justice and to assuring Americans that our system of checks and balances is not entirely broken. The subject of today's hearing is directly related to the willingness of so many to ignore a growing tower of Trump travesties. Some see Trump as the only ticket to more tax breaks, and they're willing to pay almost any price to get them. Today is also noteworthy as the first time ever, after almost an entire year, that anyone has come forward in a public hearing anywhere to justify this self-styled Better Way tax plan. Now, I certainly favor public policies, including tax policies, that are designed to encourage entrepreneurship and grow jobs here in America. And we know what some of those public policies are, that if we invest in our workforce, where there are growing workforce shortages, in education and job training for jobs that are going unfilled, we can become more competitive. Those are the very programs that President Trump proposes to slash. We know that if we have a competitive infrastructure, instead of trucks backed up on our highways and trains on outdated systems like our competitors in Europe and Asia, we can be more competitive and grow our economy. But some of those are programs that President Trump proposes to cut, and the rest are the ones that he's never gotten around to making a proposal on. And of course, the best way to grow our economy at the least cost is comprehensive immigration reform, according to economists and business groups across the spectrum. But that doesn't fit the ideological structure of this administration. As for tax policies, well, apparently our tax code is outdated. It's full of loopholes. It doesn't work very well. But the witnesses that are before us today are from companies that seem to have done pretty well under that system. And they tell us today that if they pay less or no taxes every time they invest $1 at home, they'll begin investing more at home. While I question the logic of that, I think they offer many valuable insights, a number of which I agree with. I think that we need a tax policy that encourages jobs at home. And when the chairman of our committee tells us there are proven ways to grow our economy, I think what these hearings have to be about is to show us the proof that this particular Better Way tax plan will actually grow jobs. And that proof has to come from some people who come before this committee who are not telling us basically that they think giving themselves a tax break is a good thing, because I think everybody will agree to that kind of conclusion. As far as what's been testified to here today, we do need a tax rate for corporations that is lower than it is today. Of course, if we lower the tax rate into the 20 percentile, that will be much more than many corporations are actually paying today. We need comprehensive tax reform that involves trade-offs. The tax code is replete with tax loopholes, but we don't have really a list of tax loopholes that would be closed today, only vague talk of trade-offs. And certainly we don't just need tax cuts, we need comprehensive reform. This is not the first tax cut that this committee has considered. We've already approved in the House an almost $1 trillion tax cut that will provide most of its benefits to the super rich and a few corporate interests like the pharmaceutical industry. Before his confirmation, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin promised that there would be no absolute tax cut for the upper class. But the one page, I guess it's shorter than a grocery list, that has been presented more recently by Mr. Mnuchin is chock full of candy for those at the top and very vague promises for the middle class. One analysis of it suggests that the top 400 taxpayers will get $15 million each. We need to be working on a comprehensive tax reform that provides benefits to the middle class and that does not raise the national debt. The committee has said that's their position. That has not been Mr. Trump's position. And coming together on that will be critical as we move forward. I
All
yield
time
back.
has expired. Thank you. Mr. Roskin, you're recognized.